Hello everyone. So this tutorial we will walk you through every step required to configure a powerful and a complete development environment on Ubuntu for building Flutter and Django application. We'll be using the Visual Studio Code as our primary editor, PostgreSQL as our database, and Redis for caching. Okay, so first things first of all, we must go to our terminal. So let us open our terminal. So before we go to our terminal, so as you can see here, I have opened the browser. So in here, you're expected to install these things. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna install this one. So make sure that your system, it is up to date. So just do it and you have upgraded. So let me open the terminal here. So here in the terminal, you just need to paste this one. So for those who are using the Linux, so but if you're using Windows, it is simple. So as you can see, let us wait for it to complete. So as you can see, mine, it's almost complete. So that's why you don't need to do these things. Okay, so after doing that, so you want to make sure that you have set up everything before you start working on the project, so that you won't have issues when you start building. So as you can see, mine, it is okay. So make sure that yours is like that. So the next thing that you want to do now, we need to copy the other. Let us go there. So here we need to copy this one for these packages from Git, Unzip, and others. Okay, so let us go back to our terminal and we paste it there again. So just come here and you paste it like that. So as you can see, let us see what we don't have. It is Git and others. So make sure you install these ones and you make sure they are okay. Okay, so the next thing, as those continues to install, as you go back to our browser, so this one is that we need to set up the Flutter. Okay, so what we need to do to develop the Android apps, so make sure you have install the following prerequisites packages for Android Studio. Okay, so that before we start installing Android Studio, so we're gonna have these ones. Okay, so let us, as you can see, mine, so let us go to our terminal. So here in the terminal, as you can see, it is mine, it is okay. So I've installed the others, so let us install these ones. So like this, then you accept that. So as this installs, so the next thing that we want to do now, it is to go back there and to install our Android Studio. So what I will do, because I'm in Ubuntu, so I'm gonna use the App Center. So let me open the App Center. So like that. So here in the App Center, you just need to come here and search Android Studio. Okay, so just come here and say Android Studio. So this one. So but if you are in Windows, it's simple, just go there. Then after you go there, so make sure you download it, so that you must have the Android Studio for developing the Android applications. So as this continues to install, let us go back to our browser. So here in our browser, so as you can see, we have so install that one. So that one we are installing there. So the next thing that we need to do, it is to install Visual Studio Code. So what we'll do, just come here in our terminal. So in our terminal here, so as you can see, it is complete. So just clear. So here we need to install our Visual Studio Code. So we're gonna say sudo snap. So you can use this one. So snap install. So we say classic code like that. So let us wait for it. So as you can see, it is installing. So let us wait for it to download. Then from there, then we're gonna continue. So from that point, so let us go back to our browser. So here in our browser, what we need to do was, from this point, you just need to, there are two ways you can do it. So we have the Visual Studio Code and the download and install. So I'm gonna use this one. So download and install. So let us download it, so that, so as it continues, so let us wait for it to download, then we'll come back to it. So after doing that, so the next thing that we need to do now, let us wait for them to install, then we're gonna go to the next step. So as you can see, our VS Code has been installed. So before we go to do the configurations and creating and adding our extensions, first of all, let us go also to the App Center to see whether our Android Studio has been installed. As you can see, currently it is installed and it says open. So I'm gonna open it. So let us open it. So as you can see, it looks like this. This is the wizard. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to say next. Then it has the standard and custom. So it's better to use the standard one. So then you're gonna say next. Then from there, as you can see, the setup here, it requires these things. So what we'll do, just say next. So then what happens is that you need to accept these ones. Okay, so then when you accept that one, so you go next. Okay, so you have detected, so then we're gonna say finish. So we're gonna wait for this to install, then we'll come back to it later. So let us now go back to our terminal. So not to our terminal, so yeah, to our terminal here. So what we'll do here, first of all, as you remember, we were downloading the Flutter from the Flutter the web. So what we'll do is that we need to go to that folder, so the one that, let us see whether we were able to download it. So let us go here in my file explorer and we go to downloads. So as you can see, we have this one, Flutter Linux 3.327. this is the latest one. So what we'll do is that we need to open terminal. So here in the terminal, so we're gonna clear this one. So what we'll do, we need to go to the downloads. Okay, so as you can see in the setup in the browser, so they were saying we do what. So let me go back to it. So here, after downloading, so the Flutter SDK should be this one. So what we'll do, we're gonna copy this one. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this one. So here we come back to our terminal. So in our terminal here, I'm gonna paste this one, even though I will change something. So I will need to create another folder, not this one, but we can still use this one. So let us use the same. So like that. So then so as you can see, it is saying what? Error, it's not recoverable, so cannot open. So there's no such directory. So we need to create that one. So let me go so let us create that one. So we are creating it where? So in the home, then we have what? So this one, development. So because we are in home, so as you can see, so what we'll do here, we need to create that folder. So we're gonna name it development. So make directory, so mkdir, so we name what? Development, like that. So now we have it. So as you can see, we have this one here. So we need to clear that. So here, what we'll do is that we need to now to put the other, this one, so like this. So let us wait for it to extract. so that we're gonna be able to add it to our system. So let us give it some time so that it will complete. So as it completes, so let us open another tab here. So I need to open the Visual Studio Code. So we're gonna say code. So we need to create a directory. So make the directory, then the one that I want to open my Visual Studio Code. So we'll have another one named development with capital development, like that. So we're gonna go there. So we're gonna say development. So here, as you can see, it's empty. So we're gonna open Visual Studio Code. You open in the current directory, you just say code dot, like that. So then it will open the Visual Studio Code. So let us open the Visual Studio Code. So let us go and we do the configuration. Okay, so let us check whether our extraction is complete. As you can see, it is complete. So the next thing that we want to do, so let us open again our browser. So here in our browser, as you can see, we have done that. So when finished, it is there. So we need to add the Flutter to your path, okay, to run the commands in a shell. Add Flutter path to the environment variable. So first check the shell, which when you open the console, so we need this. So we're gonna open this one, we're gonna use this one to see which one we have. Okay, so obviously we have the bash. So let us go back to a terminal and we paste this one here. Okay, so we have the bash. So let us go back to the browser. As you have seen, we needed to do that. So then after that, we just need to echo this one. Okay, so to echo this one, we're gonna copy this one and then we do what? Then we come and we paste it here. Okay, so now you have added that path, this path. So if you had a different path, you can use it. Maybe you had no development, you need to change this one. And also when you are doing the extraction, you need to do what? To change this one. So after doing that, now we need to go to our before we go to our Visual Studio, I need to install some things. Okay, so before we go there, so let us go back to our terminal. So here in our terminal, so we need to clear this one. So I want to, because we'll be using PostgreSQL and also we're gonna use Redis, so we need to install them. Okay, to set up the Django, so that we will set up a dedicated Python environment for our Django projects. Okay, so to avoid the conflicts with the system-wide packages. Okay, so the first thing that we need to install is to install the PIP and the VNV. Okay, the virtual environment. Okay, so we're gonna say sudo apt install. So python 3 pip, like this. And then we need also to install python 3 virtual environment. Then we do like that. So it will just do the y, it is simply yes instead of being asked yes. Then so it is complaining about what? So command sudo apt install python 3. So it should not be underscore there, not underscore hyphen. This one should not be there. Okay, so like that. So this one will just install that one. So the next thing that we need after doing that, so let us wait for it to install, then we're gonna continue to the next part of it. So as you can see, now we were able to install the Python version virtual environment and also the PIP. Okay, So now we have them in our system. So when you do that, the next thing that you need to do, you need to create a folder where you're gonna put your Django projects. Okay, so you can name it make directory. So you do what? So here you can make it and you name it what? Django projects. So Django projects like this. So then after you do that, now you need to go to this folder cd Django. So when you go to this folder, as you see currently it's empty. So what you'll do here, you need to use Python 3 to make the virtual environment that you be able to put your projects. Okay, so the one that will be used for that. So Python 3. So to create the virtual environment, you just need to do Python 3, then you have -m, then virtual VNV, the one that we have installed, then you name it the way you want to name it. Okay, so you can say my project environment. Okay, like that. So this one we create the virtual environment, and after creating the virtual environment, the next thing that you can do, it is just to activate the virtual environment. So in Flutter, in Linux, you just use source. So source, then the name of the virtual environment, that one. So then there's another folder named bin, then it has the activate. So when you do that, when you activate, you can see here it has changed. Okay, so it simply means now we are in the virtual environment. So then you can do all the things that you want to do to create the Django project, things like that. So after that, you can to install the maybe Django, you just say pip install maybe Django REST framework, like that. So that is how you install your packages there. So after doing that, now we need to deactivate this one. So to be able to deactivate, you just say deactivate. So deactivate, so like that. As you can see, now it is no longer in this environment. So we need to clear that. So then the next thing that we want to do, it is to install the PostgreSQL. So you're gonna say sudo apt install. So install PostgreSQL. Then you're gonna say PostgreSQL, then contrib, then -y. So this is to accept. So like that. So this one we install that one. So as it installs, now let us go to our Visual Studio Code. Now we start configuring our Visual Studio Code. So let me open it. So let us go here. So as you can see, now we are in the Visual Studio Code. It asks whether we trust that one, then we say yes. So what I'll do here, so I want to choose from this one. I'm gonna close this one. So then I'll come up to this part for extensions. So here in the extensions, because you're doing Flutter, so you just search Flutter here. So Flutter like that. So it will give you few choices. So then you're gonna choose this one, the first one. So then we need also, it asks whether we trust. Yes, we do. Then the next one we want, it is for this one, for widgets. So then that one will help us there. And also we need to install the awesome Flutter snippet, that one, just accepting them. The next one we need to install, it is what? The Flutter tree. And also we need also to install the Flutter color, this one. So the other one, so after doing that, now we don't need anything else other than that. So the next one that we want, it is what? Because we'll be using, we need that to handle the Dart. So by default it will come there by the root Flutter, so you don't need to install it. Okay, so then after doing that, now we need to install also block, because that is the main state management that we'll be using. So you install it like that, so that it will help us when when building the block, okay, so and generating some code, okay. Then after doing that, the next thing that we want to do, it is our theme. So you can use Dracula or even the one, so one time pro, like that. So this one you can, so this one we're gonna use this one as that one. So then we have the material icons. So material icons, so this one will help us to have beautiful icons so in our application. So yes, you trust that one. The next one we want to install, it is now for the Python, okay. So you start with Python. So this one, make sure you set the material icon so that our icons will use that one. So here we need to install the Python. So then we need also the debugger, then also indent. So also we need the Python environment. So yes, so then you need the Python environment and also even the doc string, okay. So it's good for generating documentation string and also for extensions, okay. So after doing that, now we have what we want. The next thing that we need to install, it is our what. So we need to, even this one, the Python snippets, we're gonna use it, so like that. So then we need to install Django so that it will help us in some parts, okay. So when we are doing the Django applications, so need to install that one. So as you can see, this one is coming. Then I need this one for templates and backend snippets, okay. So after doing that, now we have the Django and we have the others. So now our Visual Studio, it is set to handle the Flutter and also the Django projects, okay. So then also even the Django IntelliSense, so like that. So make sure you install it, because for formatting our Django, so like that. So after doing that, now we are ready to go. And also we need the HTML and CSS support, because we'll be using this one in the templates, so we need to add it. So then after doing that, now it's sorted. So now we need to go back to our terminal and we see what is going on there, if it has completed, okay. So here in our terminal, it has completed. So the next thing that we need to do, it is to do what? Now it is to set up to start the PostgreSQL. So what you do, you just say sudo system control. So system control. So what we need to do, it is to start our PostgreSQL service, okay. PostgreSQL dot service, okay. So like that. So we have started it. So the next thing we need, it is to enable it so that it will be active. So system control, then we're gonna enable. So enable PostgreSQL service, okay. PostgreSQL dot service. So like that. So it has enabled it. So if you want to know the status, you can just come here. Instead of start, we just say status, okay. Just say status, like that. So as you can see, it is active and it is okay. So just close it there. So the next thing that we need to do, we need to set the password for the default Postgres user, okay. So what you need to do, it's just say sudo, then u. So here you say u, then you do what? PostgreSQL, not PostgreSQL, then PSQL. So to go to that terminal for Postgre. Then here we need to do what? To have the command for, so alter, this is SQL, so SQL, so user, then PostgreSQL, so Postgres, so this user. So then with what we need to have the password, so with password, so the password you can put it what you want. So I'm gonna put gentech at 1 2 3 4 like that. So then you just do what, put semicolon there, and then you enter. Okay, so after doing that, so we need first of all to close this one. So we need to close it. So first of all, let us, so as you can see we have an error. So what you need to do, you need to close this one. We didn't close this one, so we need to close it. First of all, this one should not be double quotes, that one should be a single quote, and also this one, then you put the double quotes here because of this one from the start here. Okay, so then when you do that, now you have altered that role. So then you can create the new database. So you just say quit. So to exit, just press Ctrl+C, then it exists. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to do, the others, the setting up the Django, the one the user maybe you're gonna use later, you're gonna do it in the project itself. So this is just for setting up the environment. So then the next thing that we need, it is to do the Redis installation. So Redis, it's an in-memory data store that can be used for caching and message brokering. Okay, so because when you do the real world application, you need to also use the auxiliary for that purpose. So that's why we need the broker for this one. So to install it, it's just say sudo apt install Redis server, then you put what, y there, so like that. So this one installs the Redis in our system. So make sure you install that one because it will be essential when dealing with building the real world application. Okay, so let us wait for it to install, and after it installs, the next thing that we need it is to start it. Okay, so make sure you start it. So you say sudo system control, then we're gonna say start, so Redis server dot service, like that. So you start it like that. So then sudo system control, you need to enable it, enable Redis server dot service, so like that. So now if you want to test it, you just say what, Redis CLI, then you say ping. So as you can see, it has given us pong. Okay, so that is, it simply means our Redis, it is set up. So lastly, what we need to do for in this terminal, we need to install now our Google Chrome. Because of doing the Flutter web, you need the Google Chrome, so we just need to clear that. So here we're gonna say we get, so we're gonna pass the HTTPS. So then we're gonna say dl.google.com, then you need to go to the Linux like that. Then we're gonna say direct, then Google Chrome. So we're gonna say stable current, so we want the current one, AMD 64.debian, so .db. So unable to resolve HTTPS. Okay, so we need to change what, HTTPS, you need to make sure you pass the colon here like that. So then it connects. So let us wait for it to install, then we go to the next part. So as you can see, now our Google Chrome has been downloaded. So the next thing that we want to do, we need to go to the, as you can see here, so we have it here. So what we need to do here, we need to, so 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 we need we need to use sudo dpkg, then we say then we say Google, this one we have here, okay, Google Chrome. Then I've pressed tab to complete that one. So then when you do that, so then you're gonna enter your password like that. So then we're gonna wait for it to install. As it installs, now we need to go to our Android Studio to see whether it has completed. So as you can see, it has completed. So what we need to do here, we just need to, even it has created the virtual device, okay. So then we need to, even it has installed the SDK platform for this, okay. So everything has been set up, so just say finish, okay. So when you say finish, now we need to open the part now to configure our Android Studio. So as you can see, now we are here. You can create a new project and other things. What I need to do, I need to come here for plugins. So here in the plugins, you're gonna get, I want to get this Flutter, okay. So just install that one. Even though you can install, if you want to use this as your primary editor or your primary IDE, so you can add other things like font, like even the all the tools that you need for development for Flutter, okay. So I'm gonna do that. Then after doing that, as that continues, I need to open the settings, okay. So we're gonna go to the main, we're gonna first of all restart the IDE. So we restart it. Now as you can see, we have restarted it. So we need just to, we're gonna press here. I want to be able to open it, so you can give it a name that you want. Maybe let's say my project, like that. If you want to use Git, then you add there. Then so what will happen, generators, here we put that one. So currently we have it where, so currently it cannot find it because you have not completed. So we're gonna put it as Java because I'm not interested with that. So my interest is to get to the main page, so that we're gonna install the SDK. So as you can see, we have opened it. So the next thing that we need to do, it is to come here to the project settings. So then you press there, then you have this one part for SDK manager. So press that one. So it will open the new dialog. So let me put it here. So as you can see it, now we have opened it here. So what we'll do is that you need to make sure you have installed some few things here. So what I need to install, it is not this one. So we come here for SDK tools. So here we have the NDK. So this is very essential for something like shared preferences. So when you are dealing with the front end, okay. So here what I need to do, make sure that I've pressed this one to show the package details. I want to make sure I'm having only this 29.0, okay, not any other part of it. Then you need the command line, so the SDK. So we're gonna close this one. So then we need the CMake also. Then from there, now we have that part. So then after doing that, what else do we need? So it's okay, we have set up there. So make sure that you add this one, and also the command line tools, the CMake. So they'll be essential when doing the maybe the application. so you need that one. So after doing that, you just press apply. So then when you apply, then you press OK. So after you do that, you need to accept these ones. So just say accept, then you press next, then it will download. Okay, so let us wait for it to download so that we're gonna go to the next part of it. So let us go back now to our terminal so that we're gonna check whether our Chrome has been processed. So as you can see, it is now complete. So what I'll do, I need to remove this one. So we're gonna say remove, so rm, then Google this one, so like that. So then we remove that one. So when you do that, so there's nothing like that. So now we have set up that part. So the next thing that we're gonna do now, it is now to accept their licenses and other things. So let us wait for the other one to complete the installation. So this part I'll walk you through how to have the standard process for setting up a new PostgreSQL database and a dedicated user on an Ubuntu server. Okay, so this one, these steps that we're gonna use here will ensure that we have a secure and isolated environment for your application. So it is a critical best practice for development and production. So what you need to do here, you need just to say sudo I, then you need to open our Postgres like this. So we're gonna switch to this part. So we need now to go to the PostgreSQL command line. So the first thing that we want to do, it is to create a role. Okay, so we're gonna say create role. So we name the role here, we're gonna name it what, Nexus ML, like that. Then with login. So with login password here, we're gonna name it what, we're gonna give what, we're gonna say gen tech at 1 2 3 4, like that. Then put the semicolon. So we have created that role. Then we need now to exit. So to exit, you just type like this, then you have the queue there, then you exit. Okay, so the next thing that we need to do now, it is to create the database for maybe your application. So the common convention is to name the database similarly to the application or user. Okay, so we're gonna name it Nexus ML, not Nexus, we're gonna name it Stylish. So this one, I'm gonna name it based on the application that I'm working on. So we're gonna name it what, we're gonna say create db, then capital O, then we're gonna name it stylish db, stylish db1, so like that. Then we do what, so then you need to pass the user. So our user, it is what, Nexus ML. Okay, like that. Then with the database. Okay, so just do like that, then you press enter. So that one gonna create a database. So if we want, we can now, then we need to grant all the privileges on the database to the user. Okay, so here we're gonna say what, we need to go to the PSQL. So PSQL, so DB, then we're gonna open the stylish DB. So stylish DB1, like this. Then when you open that, we are opening our database. So what we need to do here, we need to grant all the, so we're gonna say grant, so grant all what, privileges, all the privileges of what here, the stylish db1 to gonna say to who, to our nexus ml. So like that, then you press enter. So privileges grant all. So we have a syntax error. So what is it? Grant all privileges. Yeah, it's not D, so we need to make sure it's G, like that. Also we have another one, so we need to on database. Okay, so we didn't pass here on database, so like that. So then you grant that one. So this is often sufficient for development. However, in a strict production environment, the user also needs the privileges too on the public schema, so within that database. So we're gonna say grant, so grant all on schema. So we're gonna say on schema named public, so to nexus ml. Okay, so like that. So this one allows the user to create, modify, and delete tables and data within the standard public schema of the new database. Okay, so we can exit, then we're gonna test whether we have what, so we can be able to connect to my database. So we can exit like that. So here you need to say PSQL, then heads localhost, then we're gonna pass here database. So the database we need to pass here, it is what, our stylish db1. So then user, so the user we want it as nexus ml. So we're gonna enter the password that we gave the user. So like that, you can see it's working. So as you can see, so that's how you set up a database that you want to use. So then you can use that one in your projects. So let us now continue in other places. So as you can see, now we have installed everything. So even in our Android Studio, now it is complete. So what will happen is that the moment you do this, now you can now start working on your projects. So before we start working on the projects, so we're gonna press OK there. Then from that point, what I need to do, I need to go to our terminal, so that we're gonna check whether to run our Flutter Doctor to see whether we have set up everything. So let us open our terminal here. So here in our terminal, what will happen is that we need to run Flutter Doctor. So we're gonna say Flutter Doctor, then we're gonna have that one v. So what this will do, we'll check whether our Flutter is installed well and the things that we need for Flutter development. So make sure that you're able to do that. So after doing that, so as you can see, now we have the Flutter 3.32 and it is set up well. So we have the Dart version of 3.381, so 81. So now we have the Android toolchain, so we have the SDK, we have everything. So what will happen is that you can see here it is complaining about that is about the licenses here. So what we'll do, just copy this one, so this one for accepting the licenses. So we're gonna copy this one. So then you can see we have the Chrome to develop web, then that is it. So then you can install this one if you want, if you're working for Linux. So currently I'm not working on Ini, so I don't need it, but the moment we need to use it, we're gonna install the things that it requires here. So but we have the Android Studio, this one, the 2025 version. So then we have the VS Code version, like that. So then the devices connected are there, the network issues no so expected. So first of all, it is to accept our licenses. Okay, so just come here, need to return back, so like that. So what you do here is that it is gonna bring the licenses, so that the moment you start working on it, so let us wait for it to load. So as you can see, it is loading. So now it has loaded. Now it says just press yes, 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 yes. So and we have accepted the licenses. Okay, so what we need to do, you can run it again, so like this, to see whether we have that error for what, for licenses, or we have resolved the issue. So this is how you set up your development environment. So this one will help you before you start working on the projects. Having a good environment helps you to develop faster, and also you're able to know what to do. Okay, so then as you can see, now it's okay. Now we have the so accepted. Okay, so that is it. That was that. This is the part for setting up our environment. So let us now go to the next part, that is working on our projects.